Hello, how are we? I hope. Oh, damn, I need to check my audio. 2 seconds. I hope you're all well. Yes, that's what I got. That's fine. So, hello, Katie, first. Interest in the state of the third charge? Yes. Neglect of child added in on Wednesday. Sorry, Friday. Oh, my camera's. Fuck, camera's too far. Ah, you ladies want to see a little bit of my titties, don't you? Let's. There we are. Well, do. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy adding charges. But Emma, hello Emma, prynhawn da, bore da I pawb arall, good morning to everyone else, good afternoon to myself, Emma, and Unicorn. Hi, Unicorn. Katie, I'm not sure where you're from, UK or US, but Unicorn, lovely to see you back, Unicorn. Oh, I'm tired. I'm on meds. I was cranky yesterday. I was I was in the ditches yesterday with the wine mums. They'll be here today watching. Um, but I'm going to do a members only about certain people there, which hopefully will be interesting. Um, Katie, Chicago, happy days. Yeah, I wasn't trying to dox it. Um, dox you, but the area, Chicago base town. It's all right. Thanks, Toxic. I hope yours went well as well. I just need to muscular. My issue is muscular. Too much muscle. Nah, it just overdone my back a little bit. So just rest up and give me some meds just to ease the pain a little bit. So hopefully I'll be okay. But hit me with six. I've been here for an hour, just dozing like this. Do you know what I mean? You know when you sit there, you start dozing. I was like, Jesus, 5-2. What the hell am I doing? I need to get going. Now, I hope yours was okay as well, and you can hope the doc was okay for you. Um, but yeah, yesterday I was a. If people that don't like drama, you know, don't go to Twitter, guys. Stay off Twitter if you don't like drama. Twitter's all about drama. Um, but I like it. I will take it easy. I was supposed to go to the gym today and Thursday, but I'm not going now. I'm going to take the week off. And then start back afresh next week. It's okay. I already feel it's fine now, but obviously meds are taking over. And even before that, I could sort of feel it getting a little bit better. As I say, it's muscular. It's probably just been overdoing it a little bit between everything. But these do knock me out a little bit. I was really surprised how much they knocked me out. But it is what it is. It's all good. Do you do weights in gym? No. I do, but not. I do circuit trainings. So I do weights, yes. I think it's combo. A couple of weeks, well, not a couple of weeks ago, last week I did a combo set of like a ton of three setters of squats, then um back stretches, then sitting down back stretches, then just a whole load of exercises for my upper body, back and shoulders. I just think I overdid, and also you got to he was weight. Well, I use weights. I think he still did it a little bit. Um, I just pushed myself too much. It must have been that. That must have. maybe just over because I did the same Tuesday and Thursday. Um, back support, yeah, I should really, I should, especially for squatting and stuff, because I do a lot of squatting and stuff, but as part of what our routine and stuff, you know. So I should really, you're right, unicorn. Hiya, Hannah. Hiya, Hannah. Hope you're well, Hannah. Sorry, guys, we are early, by the way. It doesn't start until for another 55 minutes, apparently. I'd already set it all up, so I wasn't going to change the times because I knew it would confuse people. So I left it as it is. So you got me for 55 minutes to entertain you. Hello, Jan. Nice to see you, Jan. Nice to see you. Um, right, right, women here, right? Women here, right? So just putting you in the crop. Yeah, do you know what? Apparently I squat quite well. Apparently, um, I wasn't that good at it, but I've got better and better. Um, and also I have to squat with basketball like a medicine ball and chuck. So they have got me better at it. But I should really, yeah, you're probably right. I should use a belt of some sort. I'm not as young as I used to be. Do you know what I mean? Hey Emma, I'm not sure if you were here to start, so hello. Um, there's a few people here, not as many likes as people, but it's okay. We'll catch up with that. Right, question, because you're all ladies here, right? So, um, um, how did it go last night? So yesterday, I was in and this is drama, by the way. So, but I'm only paraphrasing this bit for you, just to get your opinion. Um, what was it? Right. So I was on Twitter yesterday, and the one thing that gets me triggered is if someone says I lied, because you can't tell me ever that I lied. You can't, because um, that's the one thing I never do. I'm always honest with people, whether it's online, and I do stupid stuff. I say stupid stuff, but I don't deny it. I leave the tweets up. I leave my posts up. I never delete anything. So I stand by what I do, even if I'm an idiot. I'll rather apologize if I feel like I'm wrong. You know, I'm one of those people. So I never worry about lying and stuff. Um, um, anyway, there was a lot of back and forth. Um, so yeah, that's the first problem. Um, so there was a lot of back and forth about that. Anyway, this woman, she called me out for lying. Anyway, it turns out she couldn't show me anything that I was lying. So she started going about my tweets. So I tweeted once about there's a show, right, and there's something on about Luna Shark. It's called. So I just made a comment saying, "Hey, that's a cool porn name. I think that's funny. I think Luna Shark's a cool porn name, personally." It was a throwaway comment, and they had this room, and I was like, that is a porn studio, 100%, you know. Anyway, it came back to haunt me. I said all these things months ago, and it came back to haunt me because they're all saying you're disgusting, you're perv. I was like, what? Are you telling me your husbands, your boyfriends, are whatever, they've never watched porn in their lives? Well, apparently they haven't. So in their minds, men that watch porn are disgusting. And I was like, that can't be true. I mean, I am 99% sure that even women have probably watched some sort of porn or something like that. But anyway, it's just a name. Who cares? But everyone started calling me disgusting because of it. I don't think that I'm disgusting for it. But anyway, they've started reporting me on Twitter about it, and it's drama. But I'm not going into the whole drama. Um, but it's just like surely there's but even I've had messages going, "Oh, I don't like the references to porn." Don't follow me because that's I think if I think something's funny, I say it. Um, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. It's just my thing. I just think Katie, you say she's naive. I think so as well. I was surprised how many people were like, "No, you're disgusting. You're a pig," for referencing porn. I was like, "It's a joke." But anyway, that's the drama, and I was intrigued to hear what you guys had to say about it. That's all. But anyway, I'm not going into it too much because it is Twitter drama. We don't want that drama here. I'll be covering some stuff in members only anyway about it. Um, porn. Thank you. I love porn names. I love looking up porn names and what are you and all that. I think it's funny, and it doesn't mean essentially that everyone's watching porn and stuff like that. But I just think I just think anyone that thinks a man has never watched any type of porn, I think you're just being naive. Um, but anyway, that's just me. It is what it is. People can think what they want about it or about me. I'm disgusting for thinking that, but it is what it is. So anyway, um, I know. I'll go through with the thing, but essentially that's what it was. I called a show uh, Luna Shark. No one commented. I called it a poor name. No one commented back. I was like, whatever, sure. Um, and then they start because they kept lying and lying, and they couldn't get me. They referenced the porn, saying it was disgusting. So I bought into it and started going on about porn. End of the day, it wasn't anything big deal anyway, in my opinion. And to be fair, Lady Law and Luna, they were both messaging me privately, both pissing themselves laughing. And both of them were like, dude, this is too funny. I was like, so it's fine. So I knew what my closest people thought, but just random people if people really get offended. I mean, also don't bring it up then if you get offended by it. But as I say, that's Twitter drama. We don't need that drama here. It's all good. But I thought I'd ask you the question because I knew some of you were here, and as I say, we will cover it. Because they made a thread about it. I said I'll cover mine in on YouTube, members only. As I say, I don't hide anything, so you'll see. And if you do think I was wrong, that's absolutely fine as well. Anyway, this trial, we can move on to this trial because let's get away from drama and get back to the real thing we're here for. Um, and yeah, poured it. But it was also me, also so Katie, about me saying your husband and everything they watch porn. They didn't like that, and they think that's disgusting. So it wasn't just the porn name; it was the fact that I was referencing that all men watch porn. And also, like some people tweeted, um, messaged me saying, "Don't forget women as well." I was like, "Well, I can't speak on behalf of women, but." It is what it is. I don't want to go into too much because I say it's drama that we don't need here. Anyway, this trial, right? So Katie came in this morning and said, and I think I referenced it yesterday, that there's an additional charge since Friday, um, about neglect of a child as well. So there's a lot more. So for people that might not know, this guy was offered a um, a deal by the state, 2 years. He was offered prison for 2 years and 5 years probation. Right? He turned it down. Turned it down. So I think that he will. He stands to get about 35 years. Is the maximum punishment. However, I also believe that the extra one now is not included in that. The extra charge of child neglect is not included in that charge. So it could be more than 35 years. I don't know in that sense. So it's a big thing, especially what we read yesterday. I mean, even if you're innocent, 2 years and 5 years probation seems good. Um, a sweet deal for that appears to be an open and shut case. I know. I don't think it's open and shut. I think there's some complications in it. Um, Maybe it's just the fact that they feel like there's some things they might find difficult to prove. I don't know what everything is. Neglect of a child, even is it a neglect of a child? Possibly. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, is it? Because essentially, um, you've got the whole thing around. There's cameras there. They well, I don't know. I don't know. I think it is neglect. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I find it quite. It seems like a very low sense to get with information that's available so far. We all know how the media focus on that. Uh, I think that's also a good lesson for us. We need to remember we can't really base anything on what we see in the media. It needs to be based on, you know, actual evidence. So even though I've been judgmental a little bit, going, Jesus, doesn't sound good. Um, we should start the trial as we need to go on by the fact that they are innocent until proven otherwise. So I think that's the best way to do it. Um, because like with everything, there's always surprises. There's always surprises around the corner. So yeah, let's see what the evidence is put in. Just a reminder though as well that tomorrow we will be doing Matthew more. So Matthew's coming on. Matt's coming on tomorrow. Just remember um, that on so tomorrow's trial, I'll be covering that on Thursday. So Thursday's a big day. It's going to be two streams in one day on Thursday. Just so you know. So if you're looking for this trial tomorrow, I haven't got it because I've got Matthew on. Um, but we will be covered. I hope you all join me for Matt Moore's coverage because I think it's a unique perspective to have Matt on. Um, and then obviously on Wednesday, I hope that sorry, on Thursday, I hope we can all catch up with it then. And Friday, we're back to normal then. Friday, so just a long day on Thursday. That's all it means, which is fine. Hopefully, are up for it. Um, I'm anxious to hear the defense case. I know. Again, we've heard some of it um, through the press, but we don't really know most of it. I know they've taken out some stuff about computers. Um, no, I think they left the stuff about computers in because there was some stuff searched on the computers. They're saying the children had access to the computer, so it could have been them that accessed some of these things on the computer. However, um, there's no evidence of that children did it. I think so as well, Emma. I think so as well. Yeah, I've just sent him a link actually. He said he's super excited. Yeah, you were right. He seems like a cool guy. He generally is. I've spoken to him a lot offline. We've got similar sense of humours. As long as you don't take everything that we say seriously, you'll be fine. Um, but also, I remember I was told last night that Luna said to me, "Remember, you've got British humour, Welsh humour. You haven't got American humour because everyone in America doesn't understand when you're joking." Like she does, she said, but most people don't understand. And but Matt seems to understand it, and I appreciate that. Um, anything comes out of my mouth, 98%, 99% of it is just absolute piss take. So, as long as you know that. So, but he's a genuine guy. He's someone that I'm looking forward to having on. I think he's going to be great for this channel. I think that the video's been going down quite well for his interview and the trial video. I know some people complained it was too long and stuff like that, but I don't really care. I don't think it was too long. I'd rather get insight from a defendant. I mean, this is what we're doing every Wednesday is unique. I don't ever think it's been done before. So, hi Toxic. Hi Toxic. Hope you're well. Hope you're keeping okay, Toxic. And hello to Banshee as well. Um, pass on our regards to Bansh as well. Um, so yeah, covering this. Tomorrow is Matt Moore. Then Thursday is day 2 and day 3. We'll be covering of this trial, and Friday is Matt Moore again, so day 4. So yeah, just to keep everyone informed. I'll say it again later on, just to let people know. Obviously, if you're desperate to watch this trial on day 2, then there'll be other streamers out there. But hopefully, um, you're able to watch this. Now, we've got 40 minutes before we start, so there's no massive rush. If you guys need to do anything, you've got plenty of time. It starts at 10 o'clock. Obviously, you probably start before then, but 10 o'clock is when you officially start Eastern, that is. Good to hear, Toxic. Good to hear. Nice to see you popping in as well. It's always lovely to see you. I need to. Where do I need to take this? Take this here. Uh, okay. Just seeing if it's on. Yeah. Strangle the wife. Oh, well, there's another trial as well. It's called Mountain Dew Hiker Murder Trial. NH. What's that? NH. V. Logan Clegg. A man found living in a tent is accused of shooting and killing two people on a popular New Hampshire hiking trail. Logan Clerk is charged with second degree murder for the April 2022 deaths. Okay, so there's that trial as well. I'm not sure if anyone is covering that. So that's on. Obviously, we're not covering that. But yeah, so there's nothing yet on law and crime. So yeah, I'll keep an eye out on that just to see. So there's they're covering Strangle Wife, Mountain Dew, and the Mayor trial as well. So there's four. Um, there's three, sorry, plus this one four. So it's a few different trials. Hopefully I didn't know about the Logan one, so hopefully we get split. Um, there we are. Yeah, Logan Clegg is also on trial. Yeah, we I didn't know that, to be honest with you. So hopefully that you know not every streamer is going to do this trial. Hopefully, some people do Logan Clegg. I didn't know about that one, but we've chosen this one. I think the more interest is in this one anyway. The boy locked in the box. I think there's intrigue on this one. Um, well, I've certainly got intrigue in it anyway. So, and I think you guys do as well. So we look forward to it. Right, I'm not sure if I'm boring you all yet or not. Probably am. This is probably me being lazy and not changing the times on the trials. Thanks, Toxic. Yeah. If anyone wants to watch, obviously it's on Law and Crime as well. But I presume the people that here want to watch the boy in the locked in a box thingy. Presume. No. So, um, right. I need to go got my coffee in now. Just arrived. I need this to keep me awake. Today's gonna be a slog, I think. I need chat to keep me awake, I think. Well, there's only a few people here now, which is good. Because go off and do your own things for half an hour and then come back, if need be. Right, let me just open this now. I need to look. Everybody, yeah. Or do we think there's gonna be a result in that? What's it called? Carla, whatever her name is. What's this one? Um, okay, fine. So yeah, hopefully there's a result back in that one. I'm not sure what's going on with it, to be quite honest with you. So we shall see. Okay. I hope the audio is okay on the desktop. Because this is Streamlabs, I'm still getting used to it all, which is a right pain. Which I think this is really good. I think Streamlabs is actually really good overall. I think the only thing that's bad about it is the guest function. Everything else is good because you can move yourself, innocent unless proven guilty. Good. Oops. Save that. Also, what I like about this one is I can move my logo anywhere. I can move it. Some people would probably prefer that. Hello, hello. But here we are. I'll put it there for now. It looks like I got like a poster on my wall. Now, Katie. No, I was only joking. I was only joking. I was only joking. But it does take time to get used to it all. Do you know what I mean? It does take time. Eh, I don't even know what it looks like. Hmm. It's all good though. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this trial, but I'm on medication, so I'm a little bit drowsy as well. My cat knocked over my resin last night, and now I have to smash my spare key. Oh no! Oh, I smashed your space key. Oh no, I hate that. Yeah, no, I know, Christine. It starts in half an hour. I know, Christine. It's all good. Hello, Christine. Anyway, hope you're well. It starts in half an hour. We know, we know. We're just having a discussion about the trial. So, but thank you for saying hello, Christine. Oh, the cats get the blame. Oh, I'll go back to the doctors tomorrow. Get give blood. Oh, one thing after another, eh? I hate giving blood. Not I hate giving blood, but I mean they got to take blood from me, and I hate it because my veins are so thin. As a family, they find it difficult to take blood out of us. Get blood out of stone, you know what I mean? Blood out of stone. And I got to then pick up my niece, my little niece. Do you want to live stream? Well, we are live streaming. We will be we will be live streaming, Christine. Um, once we start, well, we're live streaming now, but it'll once we start in about half an hour. Whoopie days, whoopie days. So I say the only functionality on this one is um I can't get guests on here. So like tomorrow one, I'm back with StreamYard tomorrow, so then I can have guests on because this one's very dodgy to get guests on. I find it quite hard to get myself on here without even guests. Non-stop feeding on, non-stop, Emma. I'm telling you, non-stop. Hard knock life. Um, they're a nightmare, aren't they? We had major drama today with one them knocking over my little ones, sea monkeys. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So we got cat ladies. Oh, okay. Oh, if Rosie was here, but she's not. You to ask me, oh, I know you did something, didn't you? I know I seen you did something. Um, always obey your cat, overlord. Christine's this star already. Well, the trial, no, trial starts in half an hour. Trial starts in half an hour, so it's all good. Once it is loaded, I will load it. The Strangled Wife one is up, and the Logan Clegg is up, and the Mayor. Oh, here we go. It's up, but it's not open. But it's up. You can't love them, but I could scream sometimes. Like crazy cat lady. Right, let me just get this window capture. Let me find this. Then, okay, done. Show it. Let's dance to buddy buddy da. All right, I will go there. So you can see me. So there he is, Timothy Ferriter. I got my pick up a penguin. So you guys don't do dogs, just cats. There. Oh, something weird about him as well. Big questions so people come. We'll see you, Christine. Okay. Hi, Josie. We'll see, Christine. I just haven't got the time at the minute. But thank you for asking. But we'll see because I got this all week. Got math on tomorrow, two trials on Thursday, then Friday, then next week, then and I got to do members only next week. So I got a lot on, Christine. But if I got some free time, yes, we'll do something. But I can't promise anything, unfortunately. And also, I need to get time for Josie and Sarah to do their stream. So Josie and Sarah are going to be doing a mod stream with me, and we got Erin. She's going to be doing a stream. Erin plus one going to be doing a stream. So they're all going to be members only, probably. So you know, down the road, Christine. There we are, down the road. Yes, that's fine. So Josie makes an appearance. Sarah P has not made an appearance today. That's not like Sarah. I hope she's okay. Um, but Josie's here. So yeah, we need to arrange a time for Josie and Sarah P to come on and do the stream. Not sure when that will be. Hopefully in the coming weeks. But so yeah, I've got a lot of things I need to do and to stream with people, and I need to do Johnny Depp again. I need to get back to start that again. Um, Geez, yeah, actually, I've got too many things going on. Too many things, but in a positive way. I'm not gonna sit here and go, "Oh my God, it's all negative." It's not. It's not at all. It's good stuff. But I can't wait to have Josie and Sarah on here. Probably do a little bit of a Niners gang, Niners bang bang, Niners gang. I don't know. Up to them. They can decide what they want to talk about, or we can just get to know them. Whatever it is, whatever it says, I didn't mean it. I just want you back for good. Want you back. Want you back. Want you back for good. Quiff on the guy. Wonder if he's got a quiff today now. 25 minutes before we start, guys. 25, 25. Yeah, I did start this way too early tonight. I won't start tomorrow as early. It'd probably be, I'll have to change the times for tomorrow then. So also once they go to lunch here, we probably go to lunch as well. Um, and then I need to go and what do you call it? There'd be another stream. So I'm not streaming all the way through like I normally do. I'll be doing it in two streams because I notice I need to have a break sometimes. Tomorrow won't have a break. Thursday won't have a break. So like even if it's half an hour, because there's a guy coming over at about 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock our time. Supposed to be about installing a new kitchen. So I need to sort of meet with him. Not that I understand anything about kitchens, but he's just going to design a kitchen for me. So we'll see. I did think about. I thought of installing myself. I've installed kitchens before, but do you know what I mean? I'm not that it's lazy on it, but I'd rather someone come in, measure it properly, do everything. It's not like a flat pack. I want a proper kitchen. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Want you back for good. Want you back. I want you back. I want you back for good. Um, I was thinking he must have done something because everyone disappeared. Just trying to think. So we got this now. There's a lot of stuff out there about Murdoch at the minute. Kohlberger's. Kohlberger's been quite quiet at the minute. Delphi murders. Um, they're a pain to do, especially if you're not on a new build. No, I'm not on a new build. Absolute pain, I know. So when I was younger, I used to do carpentry. Well, I wasn't a carpenter, but I was like when I was 16, and that's one of my jobs was to install them. I used to be really good at it. It was quite easy to do, but they're all pre-packed, pre-made, so there's no fuss really. It was easy to do, but there was nothing fancy about them. Now, you've got to get an island, you've got to get this, you've got to get that, potentially madness. So expensive as well. And you can have a sink in the island, you can have a cooker, but no, I got a cooker outside. I'll do me. I'll do me, save some cash. Delphi Case got crazy recently. I've not caught up properly with it. I know people have, but I've not really seen it. Or what it. I know they said that the defense are blaming on some cult group or something. So I don't really know what's 100% going on. I just know what I've read really. So D D D D D D D D D D D D D D D. So we've got another 20 minutes, guys. If I were you, go and make yourselves comfortable. Go and get, if you need to get something. I'm on medication, so I'm a little bit drowsy. You need to drink Karen Reed? No, I need to do Karen Reed. I mean, I need to do the work on it. So I think there is stuff on it, but I'm so far behind on Karen Reed. Um, I could tell you this. I want to do Karen. I'm not sure when Karen Reed is due, but in trial in court. But Karen Reed is my priority ahead of Delphi because Karen Reed one sounds like a jobs for the boys, dodgy as anything. So I know the Delphi one is in start of January, so I'm not sure when um the Karen Reed one is. So I'm looking forward to, to dip it into that one. Right, bear with me 2 seconds. I'm gonna get some more water whilst I can. Um, Timothy can keep you company, and I probably have a piss as well. Let me just turn my mic off. My mic was muted. Bollocks. Sorry. I was just going through everyone saying hello to everyone. Blah blah blah. Perry. Hello to you, Perry. That whiskey man. Whoa. I do not like whiskey, and I'm not going to do another one. I'll be honest, it's disgusting. Sarah P. Good evening, Sarah P. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Hiya, Sarah P. Um. Yeah, I'm interested in the Karen Reed trial. I definitely am. And I said hello to Sandra. Obviously, she's probably gone by now, um, but yeah, welcome to you all. We are 10 minutes or 12 minutes away from the trial happening. So when it does, when there's movement, we will get on with it. So um, yes, that's the trouble when we starting streams early. I should have started quarter 2. But I think I told everyone that I'm starting this time. So, um, Katie saying hello to Perry and Sarah P. Josie, before you today, Sarah P. Have you discussed with Josie, Sarah P, when you're going to do this mod stream then? Because we need to get you on here um, to do one. I was thinking of doing a bang bang, Niners gang, or get to know you about the two of you. And then I got one to do with Erin. I'm not sure where Erin Hack is. I've not spoken to Erin for a while, not since last week. Not since probably last Wednesday, so not sure what Erin's up to. Um, yeah. It is what it is. 10 minutes exactly right now. Bum, 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 bum. Right, so I'm starting to get used to this as well. If I mute myself, it's only here we go. It's only a small button. I can never remember if I've muted or unmuted myself. All right, okay, okay. That's a practice. I'm muting myself for a second there. Let's see if I can. Um, let's get this up and running properly then. D D D D D D D D D D D D D D D D D. Lawyer's daughter. Hello, lawyer's daughter. Now we know you're not lawyer's daughter. You are. I don't remember your actual because he's not. You originally called lawyer's daughter. Lawyer's kid. Lawyer's kid. There we are. Hi, Lou. Lou, I'll be doing all day, as in till this finishes. So probably, what's it, 5 o'clock their time, 10 o'clock tonight, Lou? I imagine 10 o'clock. Then obviously got Matt tomorrow. Then Thursday's a big day. We'll probably be doing from 2 o'clock our time, Lou, till about 1 o'clock in the morning, probably. Um, then Friday back to normal. So again, Timothy Ferriter trial. For those that don't know, Lawyer's daughter. This is better. I don't know. I think Lawyer's kid is quite cool. I thought it was quite cool. I see. How good was I guessing that? I knew it was you as well. You see. Yeah. Sorry, Lou. No. What happened yesterday was they were supposed to be this started, but it didn't start, and then jury selection. But then obviously they refused to stream jury selection in the end, so it was a complete disaster yesterday. So I was like, I'm not hanging on here because there's nothing for my dad. So I left it. Hello. So yeah, that's why. Sorry about that. But yeah, and now we're back again. Guess who's back? Lou is back. Tell a friend. Woo-hoo-hoo. We do May. Nope. I was doing Jonathan Quillez, is it? So did the niece's murder one, the where the uncle murdered his niece and her unborn child. So that's the one. We were going through Carla, the one that is accused of murdering her fiance, her wife or something. But instead that was playing about as well. So we found that trial. Then I took a couple of days off, tired, and then now we got this one. Oh, that's in New Hampshire. There's another one in New Hampshire today as well. Um, about second degree murder. That's happening. Logan something his name is, and then obviously this one. So, and then yeah. So I think Law Crime are doing 4 streams between both channels today, two on each channel. We've gone for this one. I think this is an intriguing one. Actually remember this one a couple of years ago watching, like probably Dateline or something. Yes, the hiker. That's the one. Lawyer's daughter. That's the one. Um, so I'm aware of this trial, and I remember at the time I was going, "Geez, this is bonkers," and just as how so happens, it's on now. So it's weird like that, isn't it? You normally have to wait a couple of years for trials. We all look forward to trials, and then nothing. And now it's like, yeah, let's go, let's go. Well, we're only like 5 minutes away, guys, so it's not long to go for this one. Then you can uninterrupted from me. I was saying, I'm drowsy today. I'm on medicine for my bad back, but I'm not in a grumpy mood as much then as I was yesterday, especially after that whiskey. Jesus, I'm never doing whiskey again. It was disgusting, guys. I'll be honest with you. I can still taste it. Every time I think about it, I can still taste it. So Perry, thanks for letting me know about that and reminding me. Oh, how do people drink that filth? I have no idea. And that's what it is. It's filth. I thought they might have started, but maybe they're not. Great Seal of the State of Florida. In God we trust. Oh, interesting. Anyone from Florida here? We used to have Amanda, but she disappeared. Not seen her since the Parkland officer shooting one. A lot of people. Heidi, we lost Heidi. Heidi was good. Jan's from Florida. So Jan, how much buzz is there, Jan, in this one? Is there much buzz about this trial? Katie, I know. Sorry. Do you know what? I feel so drowsy. Do you know what I mean? I feel drowsy, so I'm just like I'm a bit zonked out. If you know what I mean. Ah, interesting. So it's not like a massive trial out there in the good old like that. There we are. Mm, okay. So I'm just looking at something there. I don't know. I was thinking, hang on, let's see if I can. Is that a picture? It's like, that's fair enough, Jan. Yeah, you're right. That's fair enough. I don't know what that is. Because it looks, it must be some sort of painting. Well, I mean, it's not the sun, is it? It can't be the sun outside, because if it is, what's that around it? Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it might have been some painting or something. Maybe it's, yeah. See you in a few hours, Lou. See you in a bit. Take care of yourself. I don't think it's a flaw. I might be desktop, but I mean, again, I just can't work it out. Yeah, I've never. Maybe it'll pan out now, and we'll be able to see what it is. Maybe ceiling with a recessed light. Yeah, I don't know. It's just mesmerizing. Yeah, that's what's putting me off. What is these things? What are these things? Do you know what I mean? What the hell are they? Like, I thought it was a wall painted, and I thought that was like a PowerPoint presentation. You know, one of those big lights. Whoosh. So I mean, but surely not. Surely they've got proper stuff now, TV and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it might be some sort of recessed light. Hmm. As you say, hopefully they'll pan out and we'll be able to, so most of the time they pan out. So interestingly, so just people that don't know, the judge has allowed the cameras to film the jurors, to film their faces. Um, However, I'm not sure if it's a court TV or a law and crime policy, but their policy is that you are not to film the jury at any point. So even though the judge says it's fine, the cameras won't be filming the jury. Is how I'm led to believe, or what I'm led to believe, sorry, from my source. So yeah, and I prefer that. I don't really want to see the jury. I mean, we're nosy, so obviously we want to see what the makeup is, but I don't really want or need to see them. I find it intriguing to find out how many men, women, ages, and stuff, but I just thought I've been speaking now for an hour and 2 minutes. What's going on? Yeah, yeah. Was it? I thought there's three. I thought, oh, there's two jurors and one alternate. I think was dismissed. Lawyer's daughter, but then they're not allowed to speak about her or anything, are they? Apparently, it's personal. But Ball, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I did see that one. Oh, I did see that one. We were planning on doing it, but we didn't see it. So I don't even know. Fourth trial for her. Is she even guilty or not? I don't know. Da, 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 da. Very confusing. Right, come on. I mean, the last trial, I believe we watched the best judge I've ever seen in the last trial. So I'm hopeful this, if this judge is half as good, then we're in for a good trial. Um, I totally loved. Sorry, excuse me. I absolutely loved the other judge. Oh, I don't remember his name now, but he was by far the best judge I've seen. So thank you, Emmy. Yeah, he was a brilliant judge. Guys, you're gonna need to keep me going because since I popped these tablets, I'm just like drowsy. I'm falling asleep here. Like, if you see me dribbling, just let me know. Or snoring. Well, you can't really stop me from snoring, but you know. Mhm. Mm. Right, hang on. I can put. What I'll do whilst we're waiting, I'll put the do do do. Um, I'll set it up so that we can. Oh, actually, no, we don't. We won't. We won't because we're taking a bit of a break today for lunch or for dinner for me, for lunch for you guys. Oh, I didn't know this. So there's that Jen tagged everyone in. There's if you missed it last night, our big announcement is that we are currently in the process of hiring attorney Natalie Wisco or Zach's appellate counsel. We are confident in her professionalism, knowledge, and motivation. True justice. Welcome to the team, Natalie. Thank you all for the generous donations to the GSG Go Send Go Fund. Again, we are humbled by all of you. The money raised so far will be extracted and used for the purpose of retaining Natalie. We will have a long way to go in terms of expenses for the appeal, so please keep sharing. Expect a further update on funding soon. There we are. So Natalie Wisco is appellate attorney counsellor. Oh, I didn't know that. So there we are. You come here, we find something new out. So I think Natalie's really nice and really good. I think so. Good on her. Right, let's take this down. There we are. Yeah. Oh, you all know that Natalie. There we are. Natalie, mother, effing Wisco. My phone or is your audio? Oh, is my audio quite? See, this is why I need you guys to tell me. Right, my audio. I've just turned it up now. Is my audio a bit better for you, Unicorn? Wow, Natalie's terrific. Wow, really, Natalie's fab. Yay, that's great news. Yeah, I didn't know until I got a message on Facebook and Jen had tagged us all in, as everyone or whatever you call it, and seen it. I didn't watch it last night, so I can't tell you. I had it on, I left it on mute and watched through. I didn't watch it. It was like I think it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning here at the time. So, so yeah, good. That's great. I don't know Natalie obviously, but from what I hear, she's good. Um, obviously seen her on a couple of streams in passing. But yeah, good news. She seems very professional, sort of from what I've seen of her anyway. So my only dealings with her mainly were, um, oh, you're right. But is this better now for you? Is this better now for you? Hopefully, I just put it out to max now. So I had it down to like 70%. Now it's at 100, just for you, Unicorn, just for you. Um, and my desktop audio is at 70%. So when we get the audio for the desktop, if it's not loud enough, let me know, and I can put that up as well. Happy days, there we are. Happy Unicorn, happy me. Um, oh, so you see, good, good, good. Right, Sarah P and Josie, you two are too quiet. You two need to get together and tell me when you're coming on stream. When you're coming on stream and whether you want to be members only or open to everybody to be here. And I get it'll have to be a weekend, so we'll have to do it on a Sunday before bang bang Niners gang, bang bang Niners gang. So no, I'm taking the Mickey. I'm taking the Mickey, Josie, because obviously um they do this the stream. That's all. So I get you're working, but obviously I'm trying to get people to chat. I think people look forward to having Josie and Sarah P on. And the wheel chose them. So and also Erin as well. We need to get Erin on. That was two incredible spins that we had. Erin, no, yeah, Erin was the first one, then the mods were the second one, I think. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, as I say, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide anyway. So, oh, burn myself out. I want 10 minutes in. I don't know. It'll be a good stream. Yes, once they decide when to do it, it'll be good. I'll say it's up to them if they want to make it members only or not. Because it is a bit daunting to come on, to be fair, and just do for everybody. It's more comfortable to do members only, obviously. So, but they get very shy whenever we ask for a date. Okay, people, okay now. Okay, people, we're doing this the same. Here we go. Teased us. Tease me, tease me. Oh, baby, tease me, tease me, tease me. Oh, come and tease me. It zoomed out and bang, zoom back in. Tease me, tease me. Oh, please tease me, tease me, tease me. Ah, 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 ah. Mhm. Oh, what's going on in the world then? Do, 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 do. I hate when we don't know when things are starting. Sorry, I'm just on Twitter now. Hmm. No worries, Erin. Oh, okay, yeah, can do, Josie. Where is it? Oh, I'll tell you, we're getting to the murder court clerk in a bit now. I'll play. Oh, thank we asked, can we deliver? Right, just stopping by to say hi. Hi, Erin. Hi. Hope you're well, Erin. I was just saying we've missed you. Oops, we've been missing you, Erin. I haven't seen you for a week. So lovely. Thank you for popping in to say hello. Step away from the Twitter. I know. No, it's all good. No, I've had it all my anger out. It's fine. Um, I'm only doing it for porn. It's all good. Right. So this is. I know. I think Josie is involved in this. Let me just take this off. Here's the promo for. Oh, I need to play this. Sarah P. All quiet. Injustice. Anyway.
Zach was one that would go out of his way to drop whatever was necessary to help me at any time. He always put family before himself.
I've always described Zach as like the glue that held us all together. I never would have thought something like this could have happened, you know?
Mequon man charged with stalking in connection to Gutierrez's disappearance.
They decided to build a script and tell a story and make Mr. Anderson the main character, despite the fact that they didn't have any of this evidence. No body, no human remains, no witnesses, nothing.
The prosecution screwed around. They pulled some really snaky things. There was no evidence to support that conviction in any way, shape, or form.
The timeline doesn't work.
So this looks to me like a clear case of an innocent man who's in prison, who's been railroaded by a corrupt DA.
There's so much truth that's missing. There's so much story that's missing. And there's so much that is modified.
Zach is innocent of this crime, and now he's a statistic.
But what they do a really good job of is making up all of these things that they want you to believe when they can label you as a monster.
Let's wait till Miss Coakley gets back here.
I'm innocent, Judge. Not guilty. I'm innocent.
We are. That's a bit of a promo there. Well done, Josie and the team, for doing that. I'm not really sure who's involved in it all, but obviously we'll be supporting it. Anything we can do to help support it. I think it is important. I think we're all here for Zach. It's quite sad to look at that. Do you know what I mean? Just thinking about it, you know. Jesus, like, don't you start, Aaron. I'm tearing up as well. It just makes you think. Do you know what I mean? Jesus. It was good. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was powerful. It just makes you. I think it's nice as well. As much as I love Saul, it'd be nice to see Zenith. Nice to see the other family members as well. Um, we know how great Saul is, so it's nice to see Zenith there. Um, I just speak freely about her stuff as well. Jesus. Oh, oh, cool, Erin. Sorry about the whole stuff in work, Erin, but um, it could happen to any of us. You're right, Katie. Ozzy did a stream. Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't watched it. I left it on mute. It was just too early in the morning. It was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning for me. Vices was, so I didn't see it. So I'm not gonna pretend I did watch it. I I w- I had it on, but I didn't. I've not watched it. So, but Rakita's huge. Rakita will
Matter of
be,
State versus
or
Ferriter.
Rakita, whatever he's called, would be huge. Okay. Oh, now
Morning,
I'm
Judge. Quorum will
curious.
have Priya
Bloody hell.
Marad for Mr. Ferriter was present.
All right, let me have appearances, please.
On behalf of the state, Your Honor, Brianna Coakley and Karen Black.
All right, we are here for the third day of trial with opening statements slated to begin this morning. Anything I need to address before we get started?
Yes, the defense has provided me a video they intend to play an opening statement. The state objects to it. And it's a 5-minute video that includes a lot of photographs that the state montages, videos that the state doesn't believe will come into evidence. They're not relevant. They're prejudicial. And so we would object to them being shown to the jury at this time prior to Your Honor making an evidentiary ruling.
All right,
I can show it to the court.
What's the basis, and how does it not amount to just good character type evidence?
So, Judge,
That's the primary concern I have after coming out of the hearing yesterday, when you told me that you had 200 photos.
that's not, I understand that, Your Honor, but this video is only 5 minutes. I would say the second half of it includes ring videos that were disclosed by the state in discovery. So the beginning of the video includes some family photos and videos. And the reason it doesn't amount to good character evidence is there's an intent element here.
I understand that, but it doesn't mean you can put in evidence of good character to negate an intent element of a criminal offense. So,
Judge, it is kind of different here because the issue is parenting, right? And they're trying to say that there's a time frame in which, and they're going to show limited videos of the relationship between parents and children that say this is abusive because of the way in which that this particular conduct.
where's your client?
I think Mr. Wahed is getting him, Judge. I
All
apologize.
right, we should have him present for this argument. All right, so the court knows that Mr. Ferriter is now present. All right, so go ahead, Ms. Moran.
So, Judge, it's a short video. I don't believe that it's cumulative. I'm happy to show it to the court. It's primarily things from after Ronan was 10 years old, and it's only for opening. And again, I would ask the court to consider that the second half of it is just ring videos that are disclosed in discovery. So the fact that the state is able to play videos of him in a room or doing things that they deem abusive, the only way for us to counter that is to offer context as to what the rest of his life was like. Otherwise,
There's no date yet, Erin. No date for the wife yet.
it's just them yelling at him or putting him in a room, right? Like any parent. If anyone's worst parenting hits were recorded on video, I think everyone would seem abusive. So we have to be able to offer some level of context. I understand that the court can sort of tailor that so that it's not cumulative.
The most pious individual in the world could be a great, upstanding, moral individual, but if that individual, despite his piety or great character, commits a single act that results in a criminal offense, my understanding of the law is that evidence of piety and great character doesn't come in to negate the criminal offense that has occurred. So how is this different from that?
Because that piety is irrelevant to, if someone shoots somebody and murders them, the fact that they served food at the food bank is irrelevant. In this case, we are being asked to make, or the jury is being asked to make a decision about whether or not a parent had the intent to commit abuse and whether or not that abuse was already committed. So it's not just good character evidence. It ties into the facts because this relationship is relevant. It's like,
So let me give you some context, and I'll give you an opportunity to make your argument. Let's say you want to show pictures. Haven't seen them yet, but you want to show pictures of the defendant and his son,
Proud that boy.
him taking his son to a basketball game or soccer game, him playing catch with his son, doing father-son types of things. How is that relevant to the issue of whether he's guilty or has committed the criminal offenses of which he's alleged to have committed in this case?
Because as the jury said yesterday during our discussion of criminal intent, there's no, if Mr. Ferriter does not testify, right, the only way to determine his intent is his conduct. And if the only person that's permitted to admit conduct is the state, then we have no ability to negate what that intent is and show, no, this is a family with ups and downs, and there were issues that this child was facing. But that doesn't mean he was unloved or uncared for.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
How does it matter? It doesn't matter whether he's loved or unloved. If the criminal offense is false, let's deal with false imprisonment for instance. If the criminal offense is false imprisonment, and the allegations are that he placed his son in improper confinement that amounted to alleged false imprisonment, doesn't matter whether he loved his son or not. That's irrelevant. It's did he stick his son in a facility or structure that amounts to, under the law, false imprisonment? That's the issue, isn't it?
So welcome to Anthony from Brecon. Here we go, Ant. Unicorn, happy days. Erin, send me a photo, happy days. I hope you like it. Thank you.
I think that's different for the false imprisonment charge than it is the aggravated and the neglect. So the false imprisonment charge is sort of a different, I still think there's an intent element there, but I understand why there's a little bit more clarity as to what constitutes false imprisonment. But what constitutes child abuse is different, because there's a lot of stuff that parents are allowed to do that does not constitute child abuse, unlike false imprisonment where there's a lot more clarity. And there is a maliciousness element. The state spent an extensive amount of time talking to the jury about what does maliciousness mean to you. If all they see are the state's videos, that's what they're going to think.
All right.
I would like the court to view the video. It's 5 minutes. I need to put it in the record anyway. And if the court is not inclined to permit me to play any of it, I would ask that the court permit me to play the videos that were disclosed in discovery by the state during the course of time.
Disclosed, counsel, disclosed in discovery is not the barometer or the measure by which you're allowed to present it to the jury. There's a lot of stuff disclosed during discovery that is not admissible at the trial. So let me make this simple. If there are things in this video that are not coming into evidence at trial, I'm not going to allow you to show it. But do you believe you're going to be able to overcome the objection? Because I assume there's going to be an objection to these things coming into trial. And if you're going to show them evidence that I know that's not going to come in during the trial, I'm not going to allow it in opening statements.
So my position, based on the argument that I'm presenting to the court, is that it should be admitted. And so I think the court needs to view it and make a pretrial ruling. And I know that delays the jury. We could either do it now or bring the jury, do the instructions, state do their opening, and then give them a short break, because I know they've been waiting. It's a 5-minute video. I'm happy to email it to Your Honor's judicial assistant so the court can even watch it in the back. And then perhaps there are portions of the video that the court would allow. Because I understand what the court is saying, that just because, of course, something's in discovery, we depose on all sorts of stuff and it's speculative, it doesn't come into evidence. However, in this particular situation, there's a 4-week time period, that's it, within which the state is saying that certain conduct happened that amounts to aggravated child abuse, child neglect, and false imprisonment. And so there are other videos during the course of that show that there is no malicious intent. So if we do not have the ability within reason, and I understand if the court makes a ruling that too much of it is cumulative, but if we don't have any shot at explaining, then
So your back to my hypothetical example. Your client takes his son to the basketball game on a Saturday afternoon. Great day. They're laughing, smiling, having a great old time. Brings him back home and puts him in, allegedly, in this structure, locks the key from the outside. I'm concerned that you're kind of going down a path of saying that taking the child to the game and doing the father-son thing somehow justifies or explains putting the son allegedly in the cage, and that I can't connect those dots.
No, Judge, that's not the defense.
All right, so what is the relevancy of it then?
Well, first, I think that the issue is the court's understanding of the room and how it was utilized. So first and foremost, the defense's position is that it was utilized primarily for supervision. In his own deposition, Ronan said it wasn't locked all the time. This is mainly in the evenings when he couldn't be supervised. And we're still working on putting it all together, but that will be presented in the defense case in chief based on the videos provided in discovery, and I do think that's relevant. So how can a jury make a determination about the relationship between a parent and a child without some context as to what the relation? It's like a self-defense case. You have to have context in order to explain conduct.
And they got to do it based on admissible evidence. If there's not admissible evidence, then they may not be able to make that connection. But it still boils down to both sides having to work with what is admissible in this case. And that's my job as the judge, to ensure that what comes in is admissible and what's presented to them is admissible. And I have significant concerns that what may be in this video is not admissible. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to spend any more time on this. Email it to my chambers right now. I'll review it, and then I'll come back out and announce a ruling. So the court's going to be in recess for 10 minutes for me to review this video.
Mr. Wahed, he has an argument to
add.
I
Just want to add one thing, Judge. First,
all right, so let me make sure that we have a proper protocol here going forward. One spokesman per side per issue. So if you take the lead, Ms. Murad, I'm only going to hear from you. I have no problem with Mr. Wahed taking the lead, and I'll hear only from him. But I don't want to have this double teaming, and so you know my procedure. I will go ahead and hear your comment at this point because I didn't advise you of that prior to this instance. But going forward, I'm only going to hear from one side, one spokesman for each issue. That means you can alternate whatever issues you want to discuss. All right, go ahead, Mr. Wahed.
Thank you, Judge. First, in terms of admissible evidence, you definitely have RF who's going to be able to speak to those photographs. So that evidence would be admissible at the very least through RF. So he's aware of those things. He was asked about some of those things in deposition. He admits those things. These pictures would be admissible through RF. Second, at least most of them. Second, because at some point he was too young. So obviously the ones where he's too young, he won't recall. Second, our defense, which is the affirmative parental defense, there's an issue of reasonableness, of reasonable parenting. And that requires context. It requires the jury to understand, and just for the court's information, what's going to come out through both a state expert and a defense expert is the escalating history of the family dealing with RF and his mental health issues throughout the course of his life. And it is important because the state is essentially putting forth that he is in this room all of the time, or the majority of the time when he's not in school. And that has to be rebutted. This evidence rebuts that.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with you. I haven't said yet that I would knock out photos of perhaps the parents and RF going to a psychiatrist office, for instance, or going to a mental health facility. But that would be something that might be admissible, and it might be relevant to the response and the efforts of the parents to deal with the issues that they're having with their child. I get that. I get the strategy. But just simply showing a picture of the parents and the children having a good time at some point, to me, is not relevant to the specific issues that I have to decide in this case from an evidentiary standpoint. I'm not going to hear any further argument. Go ahead and email it to my chambers, and I will take a recess for 10 minutes. When I come back, I'll announce a ruling. All right, court's in recess.
Court's in brief recess.
Okay, well, that was a quick start. Now we're back in recess. Jesus. Right, I just need to share this. All right. Yes. So as you can see, the merch store is there. She's got it. Sarah P she's got it. Yeah, if anyone likes anything in there, obviously the fundraising one, don't worry too much about that one. I don't really like it. I might change the fundraising t-shirt. But apart from that, everything else looks quite good. I think the quality is good. I think Josie's had one and she said that it looked good. I think Erin has got hers down, so hopefully that's good as well. Um, I, d- I don't put any pressure on anyone to buy or anything. I don't pay anything. It doesn't cost me anything. So whether you buy or not, it doesn't. Obviously, if you buy, I do get some amount of money. I think it's like £3, £4 or something, depending what you buy. Uh, but um, but yeah, it's there. If you don't want to buy, that's absolutely fine as well. The site doesn't cost me any money. They set the prices, they set everything, so I've got nothing to do. Um, So Josie's got it. It's so soft. Ah, cool. I'm glad I've not got any of the gear, so I don't know what it is. So Josie got a t-shirt, I believe. Um, the one, not this one, the logo one I got, innocent unless proven guilty. And then Erin Hack, she got this t-shirt. So we're twins. Oh my God, we're twinning. Um, and you got a mug as well. The first one ever to buy a mug. The first t-shirt bought was Josie's, and Erin bought the first mug, and I believe there's a couple of others bought as well, but it's not many bought them. But I don't push it to be quite honestly because I say it doesn't cost me anything, and I don't, you know, yeah, I make a few quid off it, but it's not here or there. But I appreciate everyone that has bought though. It does help. Let's put it that it does help. So thank you. And then just to float it out, obviously the best way to support the channel, all the links are in the description box. Um, don't send super chats because Jonathan did yesterday and we worked out that I get 40 cents. If you want to, PayPal link for Streamlabs is in there, it'll pop up. And also, the other big way you can help is become a member. Become a member, it helps me out loads. I think I make £2, a couple of quid, $2 out of becoming a member. So if you could do that, I do offer when I can um, members only videos and Discord, which I've got fingers crossed that Josie will be taking over. I hope. I'm not putting that pressure on her. Depends how busy she is. So we are. That's the Sarah. Yeah, Sarah P. Thank you. Streamlabs. It's all there. And if you use that one, I get 90% of the cut, or 91%, I think. Um, so yeah, and then to join the link that she got there. Oh, friggin' Nora. Erin Hack, thank you very much. Erin Hack has gifted 5 Blue Wenches Club to viewers. Thank you, thank you. Emily Gall has got one. Erin from North Carolina's got one. Dawn has got one. Digger 420's got one. Talk with Sally's got one. There they all are. Thank you so much, Erin. Oh, Talk with Sally's got one. Jesus. Talk with Sally is on tomorrow. Thank you so much. Erin has become a member from North Carolina. Thank you so much, Erin. I'm in Erin Hack now. Thank you for your generosity. Really appreciated. The best way I would say, don't ever super chat me, guys. Please, I'd rather you do what Erin's just done. Because members are much better. I won't be around much, so even nah, it's all good. You're always around. You are in. Um, you're in credit. You're in credit, Erin. So you are more than in credit. Let me tell you. So you don't owe me anything. And Talk with Sally is the last to become a member. Oh, thank you so much. I say that's the consistency. That's what if people become members and are willing to keep being members each month, that pays. I say about £2, $2 odd each for me per month. I get from that, so it helps out. Last month we had, I believe, 107 members in total. I know I gave up about 40 of them, but still, um, still, still, yeah, still good. And obviously half of them have dropped out now, obviously because they were gifts. So yeah, and also obviously have support Zach. $10 of every sale goes to Zach of this T-shirt. I don't believe we sold any yet, which I don't even know if it's something that people would want to buy or not, to be quite honest with you. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of ways, to raise money for Zach. I think the video we just watched was very powerful as well. Um, just reminds you how lucky we are. This is why Matt's so important tomorrow. Um, just having spoken to Matt and about him going on about that he's just happy with his car. He doesn't need material things. I mean, Jesus, you know. But he's looking forward to tomorrow. I've sent him a link already for it. He's looking forward. And for those streams, I'll be back on StreamYard. Now, question: what do you prefer, StreamYard or Streamlabs? This is Streamlabs, so I can do the whole, things come up on the screen on Streamlabs, but I can't do chat on screen. So I don't know what people prefer really. So I'm gonna have to think about it. Do you know what I mean? If someone's got preference, or are you just like, don't care, dude, just get on with it? Which is fine, fair. That's fair. That's more than fair. Ah, thank you, Eric. Thank you. I think he'd be here all day as well, so uh, I do know he likes to chat. Well, he likes me and he likes to chat. If I'm being honest, that's what he said. He thoroughly likes my company, likes my chat, and but he also likes you guys in chat. Um, Someone left a comment on the video last week, which I need to ask him, is about um, she believes that um, she did, he did delete her, alleviate her, or whatever you call it, um, and for the reasons that she messed on her face and stuff like that. So I'll have to try and dig the question out and ask him because he wants to be challenged. He wants to answer questions because he wants, to be cleared. Because even though he's cleared by the court, he's not cleared by the court of public opinion, which is the unfortunate bit. And even Zach, once he's cleared, court of public opinion is all going to be like, oh, no, he did it, he did it. It doesn't matter what the jury say. It's based on what the media say, unfortunately. So yeah. Oh, Erin, when you do go, yeah, we shall see you tomorrow at some point. It's hard. I remember I went through one of what you're going through. I'm obviously not sitting where you are, but I've sat on both ends, getting rid of stuff and dealing with the unions and being part of the union. I was only part of the union for about a month once. I just dropped out in the end. I didn't. I fight my own battles, and I think that sums it up quite well. I just fight my own battles. Um, Yeah, that could be true for most things, I think. That's always been my attitude. Just no one knows you better than you know yourself, so I'm confident in my ability, so fight your own. Right. Seal. Well, that was a bit anticlimactic. Just they came in, now they've gone back. Hopefully they come back. Well, it seems the jury are all ready anyway, so they're allowed to film the jurors, but they won't film the jurors. It's against their policy, I believe. Yes, the judge has said, yeah, film away, which is a bit weird to me, but sail away with me, honey. Sail away with me now. You know the cool thing with Streamlabs, I can automatically move myself, make myself bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. Move myself. With StreamYard, you can't do that. You got to go in. You got to, you know, edit the actual screen and then move and size it. But here, just like, hey, cool run-ins. Ba 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 ba. Cool run-ins. Ba da ba ba. Ba 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 da ba 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 ba. Beep 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 beep. Right. I can make myself part of seal. Let's have a look here. Where do I go? Where do I put myself? I'll put myself a little bit smaller. I'm on the boat. I'll put myself on the boat. Hello, everyone. Ahoy! Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if you can see me. Ba 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 ba. We can see you on the shore. Hello, 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 hello. Pirates ahoy! Pirates ahoy! Whoa, 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 whoa. Sail away with me, honey. Sail away with me now. Sail away with me, honey. Sail away with me now. Right, I can't sing for sugar. Sugar, sugar. Ooh, sugar, sugar. Ooh, honey, honey. Sugar, sugar, honey, honey. Sugar, sugar, da, 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 da. Oh, gee, oh. Crazy. These meds are crazy. I'm just these medicine is making me drowsy, but it's making me cuckoo, cuckoo. But to be fair, I don't think that I am much different. The only difference I feel is I feel tired. I generally feel tired, but apart from that, because I feel like I'm going to fall asleep any minute. So he obviously feeling good. I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na. I knew that I would now. Da-na-na. I feel good. Da-na-da-da-da-da-da. I knew that I would. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. So good. Do, do, so good. Do, do. I know I would. Bow, bow. Oh, they're back.
All right, everyone may be seated.
31 may be seated.
All right, after reviewing the video of the proposed video of the defense in camera, court sustains the objection of the state. All right, anything else I need to address prior to the opening statements? Okay, all sides ready to proceed? Why don't we go ahead and get the jury started, and we can do that maybe after they break for lunch and take a few minutes at that time. Okay. All right, go ahead and bring them out.
Okay.
All right. So, all right, everyone may be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, welcome back. Trust everyone had a good evening. I apologize for the later than anticipated start, but I can assure you that while you've been in the jury room, we've been out here attending to matters that have to be handled outside of your presence. So just because you're sitting back there doesn't mean that we're not working out here to keep the case moving forward. So with all that being said, I do like to start as close to what I tell you as possible, but this morning it just wasn't feasible because of issues I had to deal with. I do have about 10 to 15 minutes of instructions to read to you before we start with opening statements. As with all the instructions that I will be reading to you during these proceedings, I ask that you give them your very close attention. You will be provided with a copy of the instructions prior to going into the jury room for deliberation, so you don't have to memorize anything that I'm telling you because you'll have it in writing. Okay, so we'll begin without further ado. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected and sworn as the jury to try the case of the state of Florida versus Timothy Dunn Ferriter. This is a criminal case. Timothy Dunn Ferriter is charged with aggravated child abuse and false imprisonment and neglect of a child. The definition of aggravated child abuse, false imprisonment, and neglect of a child will be explained to you later. The state's charging document, which is called an information, is not evidence and is not to be considered by you as any proof of guilt. It is the judge's responsibility to explain the law to you.
Behind the scenes.
It is your solemn responsibility to determine if the state proved its accusation beyond a reasonable doubt against Timothy Dunn Ferriter in accordance with the law that I will provide to you during these proceedings. Thus, the province of the jury and the province of the court are well defined and they do not overlap. This is one of the fundamental principles of our system of justice. Before proceeding further, it will be helpful for you to understand how a trial is conducted. At the beginning of the trial, the attorneys will have an opportunity, if they wish, to make what is called an opening statement. The opening statement gives the attorneys a chance to tell you what they believe the evidence will be that will be presented during the trial. What the lawyers say, however, is not evidence, and you're not to consider it as such. Following the opening statements, witnesses will be called to testify under oath. They will be examined and cross-examined by the attorneys, and documents and other exhibits may also be produced as evidence during the proceedings. After the evidence has been presented, the court will then give you the instructions on the law. The attorneys at that time will then have the opportunity to make what are called their closing arguments. Following the closing arguments by the attorneys, the court will then conclude with the final instructions to you. After the final instructions are given, and only then will you then retire to consider your verdict. You should not form any definite or fixed opinions on the merit of this case until you've heard all of the evidence, the argument of the lawyers, and the instructions on the law that will be provided to you by me at the appropriate time. Until that time, you should not discuss the case amongst yourselves and obviously with anyone else. Your verdict must be based solely on the evidence or lack of evidence in the law. I now instruct you not to communicate with anyone, including your fellow jurors, about this case. No communication, as you know already, includes no emailing, text messaging, tweeting, blogging, or any other form of communication that you can imagine in this day and age of high technology. You cannot do any research about the case or look up any information about the case or the people or places involved. If you do become aware of any violation of any of the rules that I've given you, please notify court personnel of the violation, and that court personnel would be my bailiff, whom I introduced to you during the first day of trial. During the course of the trial, the court may take recesses, and at that time you'll be permitted to separate and go about your own personal affairs. During these recesses, however, you must not discuss the case with anyone, nor permit anyone to say anything to you or in your presence about the case. If anyone attempts to say anything to you or in your presence, please ask that person to stop and advise them that you're on the jury trying the case. If he or she persists, leave that person at once and immediately report the matter to my courtroom deputy, who will then advise me. All cell phones, computers, tablets, or other types of electronic devices must be turned off while you're in the courtroom, and that includes not putting them on vibrate. When we're in the trial, I ask my jurors to have your phones completely off because I want you to be focused on the evidence and not be distracted by vibrating either your phone or anybody else's. So I do ask that you turn them off completely. And as I said, turned off means that the phone or other electronic device is actually off and not in the silent or vibrating mode. So what that means is if you do need to have someone be able to reach you in case of emergency, my bailiff can give you the number that they can call, and any message will get to me very promptly. You may use your devices during the recesses, but even then you may not use your cell phone or other electronic device to find out any information about the case or communicate with anyone about the case or, again, the people and places involved. Do not take photographs, video recordings, or audio recordings of the proceedings or of your fellow jurors. After each recess, please double check to make sure that your cell phone or other electronic device is turned off, as I've explained. At the end of the case, while you are deliberating, you must not communicate with anyone outside of the jury room. And what that means is you cannot have in the jury room any cell phones, computers, or other electronic devices. And if someone needs to contact you in an emergency, as I just said, the court can give messages and deliver them to you without delay. And that contact number will be provided to you by Mark if you need it. So once you go into to deliberate, you'll actually give your phone to my courtroom deputy who will guard it during the time period that you're deliberating. Remember, the case must be tried by you only on the evidence presented during the trial in your presence and in the presence of the defendant, the attorneys, and the judge. Jurors must not conduct any investigation of their own, and this includes reading newspapers, watching television, or using a computer, cell phone, the internet, any electronic device, or any other means at all to get information related to the case or the people and places involved in this case. And again, this applies whether you're in the courthouse, at home, or anywhere else. You must not visit places mentioned in the trial or use the internet to look at maps or pictures to see any place discussed during the trial. Jurors must not have discussions of any sort with friends or family members about the case or the people and places involved. So, as I've already mentioned this to you before, do not let even your closest family members make comments to you or ask questions about the trial. In this age of electronic communication, I want to stress again that you must not talk about this case face-to-face. You must not talk about this case by using any electronic device. And you must not use phones, computers, or other electronic devices to communicate in any way regarding this case. So do not send or accept any messages related to this case or your jury service. Do not discuss this case or ask for advice by any means at all, including posting information on an internet website, chat room, or blog. And let me digress for just a moment. The most often violated, or the violation that occurs with respect to this rule is someone will innocently get on Facebook, post a picture of themselves and say, I'm on this trial for the next week, and this is what the case is about. That would be a violation of this, the rule. So stay away from social media at all costs during this week, and don't post or do anything regarding what you're doing and what type of case you're involved in. So what are the reasons for these rules? Because they're pretty strict and all-encompassing. These rules are imposed because the jurors must decide the case without distraction and only on the evidence presented in the courtroom. If you investigate, research, or make inquiries on your own, I have no way to make sure that the information you obtain is proper for the case. And likewise, the parties have no opportunity to dispute or challenge the accuracy of what you may have found. And as I also advised you during the first day of this matter, doing anything outside of this courtroom would be contrary to our judicial system, which assures that every party has the right to ask questions about and challenge the evidence being considered against it, and to present argument with respect to that evidence. So any independent investigation by a juror, as you can imagine, would unfairly and improperly prevent the parties from having the opportunity that our judicial system provides to them. Also, any juror who violates these restrictions jeopardizes the fairness of these proceedings, and a mistrial could result that would require the entire trial process to start over. Mistrial is a tremendous expense and inconvenience to the parties, the court, and the taxpayers, but also to you folks, because this is your third day of contributing your time and energy to this proceedings, and if there was a mistrial, all of the time you spent up to this point would have been lost and wasted. So again, this just underscores the importance of complying with all the rules. If you do violate these rules, as you know, you may be held in contempt of court and face sanctions such as serving time in jail, paying a fine, or both. It's rare, but it happens enough in the world that you need to know there are potential consequences if you do violate the rules. In every criminal proceeding, a defendant has the absolute right to remain silent. At no time is it the duty of a defendant to prove his innocence, and from the exercise of a defendant's right to remain silent, a jury is not permitted to draw any inference of guilt, and the fact that a defendant did not take the witness stand must not influence your verdict in any manner whatsoever. We spent a lot of time going over that during the voir dire. The attorneys are trained in the rules of evidence and trial procedure, and it is their duty to make all objections that they feel are proper. When an objection is made, however, you should not speculate on the reason why it is made, and likewise, when an objection is sustained or upheld by me, you must not speculate on what might have occurred had the objection not been sustained, nor what a witness might have said had he or she been permitted to answer. During the trial, it may be necessary to confer with the attorneys out of your hearing to discuss matters that require consideration by me alone and outside of your presence. It is impossible to predict when such conferences may be required or how long they will last, but when such conferences do occur, please rest assured that they will be conducted in a manner so as to consume as little of your time as possible. And what that means is that if I can do it up here at sidebar, I'll do it and you'll hear this noise. You've heard that already, and so that means that we can conduct a conference up here and you won't hear it. If it's going to take more than just a couple minutes at any sidebar, I typically will have Mark or my bailiff escort you back to the jury room where you can be more comfortable while I'm, again, dealing with matters outside of your presence. I note that everyone looks like they have a note, pen, and pad, so let me talk a little bit about taking notes during the trial. If you would like to take notes, obviously you may do so. On the other hand, you're not required to do so, and it's your own personal choice and decision whether you do take notes or not. Everyone does have a pen and pad that has been provided to you, so you should use that for any notes that you do take. Please keep in mind that if you do take notes, that the notes will be for your own personal use, but you won't be able or permitted to take them from the courtroom. During the recesses, my bailiff will collect your notes and then pass them back out to you when you return to the jury box. After you've completed your deliberations, the court deputy will then deliver your notes to me, at which time they will be destroyed, and I can assure you that no one will read your notes, so they're for your own private purposes, for purposes of what you're doing as jurors in this case. I would tell you, though, if you do take notes, don't get so involved in the note-taking that you lose focus on what is being said from the witness stand. If those have been in college or high school, you can remember those times where some of us tried to write down each and everything the professor or teacher said, and in the process of trying to write down everything, we lost track of what was being said. We don't want that to happen in a criminal trial, because it is very important for you to listen to and hear everything that's being said from the witness stand, because that testimony is the evidence by which you will be guided in your determination as to the ultimate verdict in this case. Lastly, whether you take notes or not, you should rely on your own memory of the evidence, and you should not be unduly influenced by the notes of others. And so I would say to you that notes are not entitled to any greater weight than each juror's memory of the evidence that's being presented. In just a few moments, we're going to begin opening statements, but I want to, before I do that, I just want to ask the same question that I asked at the beginning of voir dire yesterday. During the last 24 hours, has anyone that's a member of this jury been exposed to any media coverage of this case, either through any TV newscast or newspaper article, blog, email, or any other type of source? Has anyone on the jury been exposed inadvertently to any media coverage over the past 24 hours? Okay. Let the record reflect that there was no affirmative indication that anyone had been exposed to any jury coverage. All right, so at this time, the attorneys for the parties are going to have an opportunity to make their opening statements, as indicated, in which they may explain to you the issues in the case and summarize the facts that they expect the evidence will show. After all the evidence has been received, the attorneys will again have an opportunity to address you and make their final arguments. Again, the statements that the attorneys now make and the arguments that they may later make are not to be considered by you as evidence, but you should not read that as that you shouldn't pay close attention, because their opening statements are very, very important in terms of telling you what they intend to proceed with and present. So I do ask that you listen to them very carefully and give them your very close attention. At this time, is the state ready to present its opening arguments? All right, you may proceed, Ms. Coakley.
Good morning, everyone. Over the course of this week, you're going to hear a lot and get to know a lot about the life of Ronan Ferriter. He goes by Ty, and today he is 16 years old. But this case starts, and really the focus of what his life was like is how his life was in end of December 2021 and January of 2022 when he was just 14 years old. This morning, you're going to learn that on January 28th, 2022, he ran away from home. He lived in Jupiter, Florida at that time with his parents, the defendant, Tim Ferriter, and his mom, Tracy Ferriter. You're going to hear that Ronan was adopted as a child, as a small child, a toddler age, from Vietnam, and he had lived with the Ferriters since that time. He was the second of their 4 children. He has an older sister named Fiona, who you're also going to get to hear from at this during this trial, a younger sister named Nola, and a much younger little brother named Pierce, who was about 3 years old when all of this happened. And in January of 2022, he was a student at Independence Middle School and 14 years old. You're going to hear on the 28th, he ran away from home. He was reported missing to the Jupiter Police Department, and that's where this case starts. You're going to hear from Jupiter Police Department officers who are going to tell you that they took the report of a missing child and that he didn't come home on the next day on the 29th, and he also still was not located on the 30th. They went back to the Ferriter residence to find out if there was new information. Had he come home? Was there any leads? The day he left was a Friday, still wasn't there on Saturday, and on Sunday, Detective Sharp from the Jupiter Police Department went into the Ferriter home with Tracy Ferriter. You're going to hear it's at that point that for the very first time he learned about how Ronan was living, about what his living situation was like at home with his parents. He's going to tell you that he was shown the house, and the first thing that stood out to him was that the child who they were looking for didn't have a place to sleep in the main house. There wasn't a bedroom for him. There weren't his items of clothes. There weren't his toys inside of the house. Instead, there was a structure, a small room box-like structure that was constructed in the garage that didn't have any windows. It had a box spring and a mattress, a bucket in the corner, and a desk. You're going to hear that at that point, the child still wasn't found, and so Detective Sharp left and continued the investigation. And the next day, which is Monday, January 31st, Ronan shows up at his school. And there he is made secure, made safe by the Jupiter Police Department, and that's when the criminal investigation really starts, after they had the opportunity to speak to him. You're going to hear that as part of the investigation, during that initial walkthrough of the room, Detective Sharp realized that that small cell-like room had a ring camera in the corner to observe the occupant of the room. And so as part of his investigation, he served a search warrant to the Ring Corporation to see if they had maintained any videos. And you're going to get the opportunity to see and hear that evidence that was returned from the Ring Corporation, because that Ring camera captured moment after moment of Ronan's life in that room. You're going to hear over and over and over again that door locking and unlocking, because the evidence is going to show that that room was not a room that Ronan could come and go from as he pleased. He was locked inside from the outside over and over again. You're also going to see that he did not have the ability to control things like the lights in that room, that the only way that those lights could be controlled was outside the room. And so you're going to see him sitting in the dark in a windowless room for hours at a time. And we're not just talking from 10 p.m. till 7 o'clock in the morning overnight. You're going to see that even during the day, there are times in which his parents, the defendant and his wife, would turn off that light and leave their 14-year-old son locked in a room in the dark, alone, isolated. You're also going to get to observe and hear the anger and the derision, the physical altercations that this defendant has with his child on the Ring camera: physical intimidation and the threats of violence. You're also going to see Ronan having to use that bucket, having to pee in the bucket, because for hours overnight, he did not have access or the opportunity to go to the bathroom. And the only option for him was to pee in the bucket. And then you're going to see the next morning, when that occurred, that this defendant would tell him, clean out the bucket, make sure the neighbors don't see you doing that. Because this treatment, his life, was kind of a secret thing. And you're going to hear that it's not the state's case, and it's not the evidence in this case, that he was kept in there 24 hours a day. He went to school. There were times where he was outside of the room with his family. There was times where he was shoveling shells for his father for hours at a time. But for long periods of time, for mass majority of this child's life, in that period in Jupiter, Florida, he's in that room, isolated, alone, without autonomy, without privacy, without stimulation, sometimes with only a single book to read over and over again. As part of the evidence in this case, you're going to hear that the defendants are charged with that 4-week period, that 4 to 6 week period, because the family moved to Jupiter, Florida in December of 2021. Mid-December, kind of a week or two before Christmas, and this all happens at the end of January. So we're talking about 6 weeks when they are in Palm Beach County, Florida. And so that's the charged time period. That's the criminal conduct that we're talking about. But the state expects that you're going to hear evidence about Ronan's life before the family moved to Florida, when they lived in Arizona. We expect that you're going to hear testimony about a very similar, nearly identical room that the family constructed for him in Arizona, in which he had been residing in since he was 11 years old. You're going to hear that that room had no access to a bathroom, no control of the lights, no freedom of movement, that he was recorded, and that he was locked in from the outside with only a bucket to go to the bathroom. The charges in this case are aggravated child abuse, child neglect, and false imprisonment. And at the end of this trial, Judge Coates is going to read you instructions about what the law is for child abuse in the state of Florida. And you're going to hear that there's child abuse and there's aggravated child abuse. Aggravated child abuse occurs when a defendant engages in malicious punishment of a child, willful torture, or the willful caging of a child. And those are in the alternative, meaning it could be any of them. And child abuse in the state of Florida means the intentional act that causes physical or mental harm, or conduct that is likely to cause physical or mental harm. So that doesn't mean that there actually has to be harm. It's just that it's likely to cause harm, that they engaged in an act that is likely to harm a child. And to help you understand what the harm is here and how this conduct is criminal, the state is going to call a Dr. Wade Meyer. Dr. Meyer is a child psychiatrist. He's affiliated with Brown University, and he's going to tell you the impact that this kind of treatment has on a child, that it's humiliating, isolating, cruel, and malicious. He's going to tell you that it will cause harm to any child, but it will certainly cause harm. That harm could be exacerbated if that child already has a behavioral issue or has trauma. And you're going to hear about some of that in this case. It's true, and Ronan will admit, that there are times that he did not follow the rules, that he made mistakes, and that he did things that his parents punished him for. But you're going to hear that in no circumstance is this a protective punishment for any child. And in particular, for a child who may have issues with trauma or a behavioral issue, that this is the worst possible thing that a parent could do. It is the exact opposite of any recommended treatment, of any therapeutic purpose, or anything that would lead to productive response from a child. Instead, Dr. Myers would tell you that it would increase the likelihood of behavioral issues. Because when you isolate a child like this, when you humiliate them, when you basically put them in solitary confinement for large portions of the day, that has a negative mental impact. At the end of this trial, Judge Coates will instruct you on the law, but I want to be very clear on a couple of things. The state here does not have to prove that every moment of his day they were committing a crime against Ronan Ferriter. We don't have to prove that there are no moments when he was let out of the room. That's not the state's case, and that's not what Dr. Myers is going to say is necessary to cause harm. We also don't have to prove, and you're not going to hear, that there's any kind of legal defense or special standard for a child that has behavioral issues. That if
Overruled.
the law, you're going to hear from Judge Coates. The law you're going to hear from Judge Coates is not going to be that there's any kind of affirmative defense or that there's any different standard just because a child has behavioral issues. We're here today because of the actions of Tim Ferriter towards his son. They were ongoing, they were intentional, and they were criminal. And so at the end of this trial, after you have heard all of the evidence, all of the testimony and the law from Judge Coates, we're going to ask you for the only verdict that is supported by the evidence and the law. And that's a verdict of guilty as charged. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Coakley. Is defense ready for an opening? Ms. Murad, you're going to handle it?
I'm confused. Right? Doesn't take much. But after hearing that, why does this guy not take the 2-year deal? I don't get why he didn't take it. I'm interested to see what defense are going to say here because I just don't get it. How is he not guilty? Do you mean?
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think they keep him short, to be quite honest.
It's a parent's responsibility to make tough choices. Tough choices to protect their child, tough choices to protect their other children, and tough choices to protect the community. And that is what Tim Ferriter did. He was faced with an impossible situation. And he made tough choices to protect Ronan, or Ty, is what we will call him throughout this trial, from himself, from the other children in his home, and from the community. You only have to make one determination in this case, and that is whether or not Tim Ferriter had the criminal intent necessary. That's it. Did he or did he not have the criminal intent? And that will be your guiding question throughout this case. This case is not about whether or not Tim Ferriter made the right choice, because I will be the first to tell you, the defense will be the first to tell you that he did not. But what it is about is the difficulty of parenting, right? Because bad parenting does not make somebody a criminal.
Okay, that's where they go in.
Bad parenting does not mean that a person should be charged with a crime. It makes them human. It makes them a parent who is trying to figure out, when faced with a child, as you'll hear throughout the trial, who has consistent and escalating behavioral issues, how to handle them. You will learn more throughout the trial, but I want to try in these next few minutes to share with you what that relationship looked like. In 2009, Tim Ferriter and his wife Tracy took the very long flight to Vietnam to adopt their first son, Ty. At that point, him and his wife, Tracy, had spent some time in the Honduras, and so they were really motivated to adopt. And the first child that they adopted, Fiona, who you will hear from in this trial, is Chinese. And after they had Fiona, they were really excited to adopt again. And they wanted her to have a sibling that was culturally close to her. While they were waiting for Ty to get the news that they were going to be able to adopt from Vietnam, they had their first biological child, Nola. And within just a few years, they go from this young couple to a little family. They have 3 little babies. And this is really the first iteration of that family before Pierce comes along several years later. Tim and Tracy love these children.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
They did everything that they could when they were young. Karate, softball, soccer. Ty was in track. He loved Legos. They got him science posters and galaxies. So he had a periodic table of elements and stuff about galaxies in his room because those were his interests. But what we don't know is how our stories will be written. We don't know where our children are going to end up. And as parents, all you can do is try to raise children who make good choices, who are going to be productive members of the community, and hope that that works. And unfortunately for Ronan, it just couldn't. Later in this week, you will hear from a seasoned psychologist, Dr. Sheila Rappa. Dr. Rappa is well respected as a forensic psychologist. She's routinely hired by the state attorney's office. She is routinely court appointed to conduct psychological evaluations in this county, to give opinions about psychiatric or psychological expertise. And her specific experience is working with children like Ty. And so that's what makes her uniquely qualified to speak with you about the records that she's reviewed and the patterns of behavior that she noticed. Ty underwent a neurological examination. And what it shows, and as Dr. Rappa will explain to you, is that neuropsychological evaluation showed elevated levels of a lack of inhibition and clinically elevated levels of a lack of emotional regulation. And as Dr. Rappa will explain to you, these elevated levels are associated with early life brain development, usually when someone's a baby, pre-verbal, or even in utero. And that makes sense because Dr. Rappa reviewed records, early childhood records of Ty. And what they show is that he had malnourishment, he was not well taken care of when he was dropped off at the orphanage and while he was there. We can't know his exact medical history because his biological mother just left him at the orphanage, but the records that Dr. Rappa has reviewed over the course of Ty's life, in addition to some of the depositions taken in this case, other records, they will show you that, for very much lack of a better term, Ty is wired this way. It is a function of brain development. And it's why the Ferriters continued to see patterns of behavior that would not stop. I want to take you through some of those patterns. Since he was a kid, Ronan had aggressive outbursts and tantrums.
Overruled for purposes of opening.
His parents regularly received emails of him fighting at school, punching other kids, using profanity. Tim and Tracy moved Ronan. Well, let me start with this. He was at a school with his sister Nola, where he pretended that a teacher asked him to make an announcement in class. So he was in a different class. He goes into Nola's class and says, "Oh, the teacher asked me to make an announcement." He has his sister stand up and humiliates her in front of the entire class, saying that she's a horrible person. And it was so disturbing to the teacher who was present, who you'll hear from throughout this trial, that she had to report it. Tim and Tracy moved Ronan to an accelerated private school in hopes that the challenging work would engage him. It was sort of a math and science type school, so they thought that that would help him stop. It did not. He stood up in class at that school and asked if the Holocaust was a good thing. He was accused of telling a student that they should get aborted. He got up in class and said that immigrants are more likely to be drug dealers. He brought a screwdriver to class and was waving it in someone's face. He stole another student's laptop, hacked into it, and looked up women getting run over by trains.
Sustained.
And he pretended to be a tutor to a friend of his.
Sustained.
And that happened while he was in
Counsel
marriage.
approach.
Okay. That's an interesting start. She's getting everything in there. She's getting stuff in there that she shouldn't be getting in there. So he was a bit of a brat, let's be honest. He sounds like a not very nice kid. But does that deserve the treatment that he received? That's the question. Sounds like a bully, exactly. Especially to, well, they're painting it, especially to the daughter, obviously. And that's the, you can see the narrative being built now. That's why he had to lock them away from everyone else. And he wasn't safe out with other people. But, like, I don't think that excuses it, though. I think that's like, well, why didn't he seek help? If you couldn't cope, why, you know? Yeah, you're right, Sarah P. You're right. Not just your country, everywhere. Certainly not just your country. Let me just tell you. Oh, he is not happy. I don't think also he's very happy the fact there's objections during opening. Oh shit! Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Sarah. I didn't notice that we didn't change it. Why can't I pin that now then? We cannot set the bread. No, I agree. I just think that it's wrong that they didn't reach out to people. But I mean, this is where we go. That there's, is it bad parenting? I mean, look, when it comes down to it, the way they're going to word all these things is the way it's going to go. I think. You know, all I'll say is that let's listen to all the testimony. Let's not prejudge.
All right,
let's
Ms. Murad, you
listen
may
to it all.
continue.
But I agree with you, Katie, so far.
Ty also pretended to be a tutor to one of his friends and then stole her father's credit card and utilized it.
Overruled as to that.
Thank you, Judge. This is just a handful of the consistent and escalating behaviors Ronan continued to engage in. And he himself will tell you, as the state said in their opening, that he knows that things are wrong, and he continues to do them. He knows that there are consequences, and he continues to do them. And all this time, Tim and Tracy are racking their brains trying to figure out what will change Ronan's behaviors. Because they have an entire family here, right? These kids go to school, they have their own activities, they have a toddler at one point. They have to be able to get through the day-to-day of just being an adult and having a family, be able to send their child to school safely knowing that other children will remain safe. So they try to get him into activities to kind of take out his energy. And when they see that's not working, they do counseling. They give him the medications that he's prescribed. They try to help him sleep at night because he keeps wandering the house. They cut sugar from his diet on the recommendation of a pediatrician, that maybe that'll help his behavior, and that'll make him less impulsive. This family is going from place to place to place, from appointment to appointment, trying to figure out how to get this child actual help, how to get a diagnosis, and how to get medication that will change his behavior. And as we discussed in voir dire together, what they found was a revolving door of doctors and therapists, and no one was able to offer them the help that they needed. You will see that Tim tried to curtail Ronan's behavior when nothing else worked, and there will be some videos of that. It's not always going to look pretty, just as it doesn't look pretty in real life when a parent gets mad at their kid. Particularly a child, and you must remember when you see the videos, particularly a child who for years and years and years is continuing to engage in these behaviors, who will not stop. In 2019, while living in Havasu, Arizona, Tracy and Tim had their last and youngest child, Pierce. And at that point, they are fearful. Ty, Nola, and Fiona are a little bit older. They're about 10, 11 years old. And Pierce is coming in as an infant. And at this point, Ronan had been hurting other kids at school. He had been engaging in dangerous behaviors. He's walking around at night, and they did not know if an infant could be safe with Ronan in the house. And that is when they made the decision, while he lived inside their home in Arizona, this is not in the garage, this is in a house, to put a lock on his door. And that was not for the purpose of keeping him locked inside at all times. It was not for the purpose of even punishment. It was for the purpose of monitoring him when they couldn't. Because unfortunately, they're in a situation where they cannot leave this child unattended. There has to be somebody constantly watching him, and they cannot do that as two working adults. You'll hear that Ronan or Ty participated in activities. He went to school. You'll see videos of him around the house. And he will tell you himself that the door was not always locked. But they did use it when he couldn't be supervised. Once Pierce was born, they needed a baby room. So they built a room in the Arizona house in the garage for Ty. It had a bed, it had a desk, it had Legos. You'll hear from witnesses who actually saw that room. And Ronan showed it to them. Ty took them in and said, hey, look at my room, and showed them all the toys that he had and the books that he had in the room in Arizona. So right before Christmas of 2021, that's when we get to sort of the time relevant in this case. The Ferriters moved back to Jupiter, where they lived many, many years ago when the kids were young. And they decided to build a similar room for Ronan. It had the bed, desk, books, and toys. You'll see videos of him in his room. He's reading. He's talking to his friends. He has Legos there. He is not allowed to have technology in his room alone because that's not something that they felt was safe, but he had other types of activities. He did have like a school Chromebook that was provided by the school. You'll see him FaceTiming with a friend of his. He had posters up on the wall that he, when he got angry, ripped down himself. That's why the walls will look bare. Both the room in Arizona and the one in Florida had one very big design flaw, and that is that it did not include a bathroom. And this means that Ronan, at night when he was in the room and couldn't be supervised, had to use a bucket for the bathroom if he needed to use the bathroom. During the day, he was permitted to move about the house freely, and he could utilize the bathroom in the house itself. And I'm going to be very honest with you, you're going to see him use the bathroom in that bucket a handful of times over this 4 to 5 week period. He's a kid, so he's not waking up and using the bathroom all the time like probably all of us are. And so he uses it a few times, and it's not going to look pretty. But what you have to remember throughout this case, right, is that this was not some big secret life like the state is presenting. These people went to doctors. They went to therapists. The schools were emailing them back and forth about Ronan's behavior. They had family members and friends see the room in Arizona. In Florida, they were only here for about 4 weeks right before Christmas, and then school started. So this is not some sort of secret life that they had for Ronan. Everybody knew that Tom had behavioral issues. Everybody knew that Tim and Tracy were trying to get a diagnosis so that he could get appropriate help, and it never happened. As you review the evidence in this case, you have to remember that the issue at hand is not whether or not Tim Ferriter is a great dad. It is not whether Tim Ferriter did what you would have done, and it's not even if Tim Ferriter did the right thing, because our own expert, Dr. Rappa, will say that he did not, and that those actions could have been damaging to the child. That does not make his actions a crime.
Good question,
The
Katie.
singular question in this case is whether or not there was criminal intent. Because what Tim did not do is have his child arrested, not one time. What he did not do is undergo a failed adoption proceeding where you essentially return a child back to the Department of Children and Families.
Sustained.
He paid.
Sustained.
Okay.
No need to approach. I sustain the objection.
He paid for private schools so that Ty could have activities that he was engaged in. But he had to make tough choices to protect his son, to protect the other kids in his home, and to protect the community from a child who was already showing, a screwdriver in class, hitting other kids. He had to do that. And though he didn't handle it correctly, his intentions were not criminal. Dr. Rappa will testify, based on her extensive experience and review of the records, that what she sees in this case is not malicious. That what she sees in this case is actually very common for parents with children who have such extensive behavioral issues that are hard to sort of diagnose and pinpoint. At the end of this trial, I'm going to come back up here, after which I expect to be about a week of evidence. And I'm going to ask that you really listen to what Ty says, even in his own testimony. And that you consider what it's like, and that you consider how a parent
Sustained.
How a parent has to act in these situations. The difficulty that Tim Ferriter experienced over and over and over again. The help that he attempted to give his child over and over and over again. I'm going to ask that you find him out.
All right, thank you, Ms. Murad. Ms. Coakley, stay ready to call its first witness.
Hey. I mean, the defense makes sense. It obviously makes sense, but I mean, I think it's quite a weak defense.
You're doing the direct, Ms. Black?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure how they're going to justify, but hey, we'll make a decision based on the evidence, yeah? Let's not prejudge, let's make it on the evidence. And hello again, Amy, hope you're well. Thanks for lurking and being here with us.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yeah, I know, Josie, I know.
All right, Ms. Black, you may begin at your convenience.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name for the record, spelling your last name.
Officer Ryan Kolenich, Kolenich.
Where do you work?
The town of Jupiter.
How long have you worked there?
Approximately 8.5 years.
And what's your role?
Patrol.
Okay, patrol what?
Patrol officer.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
The entirety of my 8.5 years.
Okay. And do you have any prior law enforcement experience?
I do.
Where?
As a patrol officer in the state of Ohio.
How long did you do that for?
Approximately 5 years.
Now, as your role now, what kind of training and experience do you have?
I am a field training officer, and I'm on the emergency field force team.
And what do you do as a field training officer?
I oversee and guide new officers.
Now, every year, do you have to do any continuing education?
Yes, every year I complete my required annual training with the police department.
Now, I'm going to turn your attention to January 28th of 2022. Do you remember that day?
I do.
And were you working that day?
Yes.
What was your capacity that day?
Road patrol.
Now, where did you first respond?
For, like, the address?
Yes.
We went to an address in Egret Landing, I believe.
Is that in Jupiter, Florida?
Yes.
In Palm Beach County?
It is.
Now, what were you responding in reference to?
A missing juvenile.
Who did you make contact with when you first arrived?
The missing juvenile's mother.
And what was her name?
I believe it was Tracy.
Now, at this point when you arrive, are you with anybody else?
Myself, I was with my training officer, Officer Picard, but no, just Tracy herself.
And you guys arrived there via patrol car?
Correct.
When you first get there, what do you do?
Make contact with the mother at the home.
And where did you make contact with her?
At the front door.
Did you ever go inside?
No.
So you had a conversation with her outside that house?
Yes.
What was the point of having that conversation with her?
Fact-finding, information gathering, so I could relay the information that I was given to responding officers to check for the missing juvenile.
Now, did she ever give a description of that juvenile?
Overruled.
Did she give you a description?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
And what was done with that description?
We relay that information over the air to officers that are checking the area for the missing juvenile, and it's later typically used for like a BOLO of some nature to put out to other surrounding agencies.
Okay, so you mentioned BOLO. What is BOLO?
It's just like a memo or a transmission to be on the lookout for a certain item, whether it be a person, vehicle, property of some nature that's sent to officers not only on my shift that I work with and other surrounding agencies.
Now, when you spoke to the mother, how is her demeanor like?
You'd have to ask me. I'm not sure what kind of answer you're looking for. Just she wanted to locate her child, I guess. I'm not sure as far as the demeanor. I don't know.
Okay. Did you ever make contact with the father, Mr. Ferriter?
No.
Now, after speaking with Ms. Ferriter, did you go to any other location?
I personally did not. Other officers did.
Okay. And do you know where the other officers had gone?
Yeah, they went to check surrounding areas. I believe that she relayed to me as far as like a local church, local parks, and just major thoroughfares throughout the town.
So at the end of January 28th, 2022, did you ever locate that child?
I did not.
1 minute, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination, Mr. Waheed.
Good morning.
It was Tracy Ferriter who called the police, correct?
Correct.
And your the efforts that JPD made thereafter were essentially looking for a runaway child, correct?
I can't speak to thereafter. I'm not. I don't know what happened thereafter. As far as just on scene with myself is all I can. That's all I can explain to you.
Correct. So, based upon the information you received the day you met with Tracy Ferriter, you essentially began a search for a child, correct?
Yes.
Who had run away from home, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you were provided with possible places he may have gone, correct?
Yes.
And you mentioned a church, correct?
Yes.
You also mentioned local parks, correct?
Yes.
And you weren't involved with actually searching any of those locations yourself, correct?
Correct.
Okay. One moment. Nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any redirect, Ms. Black? No redirect, Your Honor. All right, is this witness excused? Yes. All right, sir, that concludes your testimony. You may step down. Thank you for being here. State, call your next witness.
At this time, the state would call officer, actually, it's Miss Collins right now.
Was it quick?
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Black, you may begin at your convenience.
Good morning, Miss Collins. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Could you please state your name for the record, spelling your last name?
Sally Collins, Collins.
Where do you currently work?
I work for a law firm in Port St. Lucie, Sinclair Law Offices.
What do you do there?
I'm a bookkeeper.
Now, back in January of 2022, did you have a different occupation?
I did.
Where did you work then?
I was a police officer for the Jupiter Police Department.
How long were you a police officer?
19 and a half years.
Now, during those 19 and a half years, did you stay in the same role?
Yes.
And what was
most
that?
of the time. For about 6 years, I did recruiting and background investigation, new hire officers. For the rest of my time, I was road patrol.
Now, did you have any prior law enforcement experience?
No, ma'am.
And what kind of training and experience did you have as a road patrol officer?
I did the initial 6-month academy at Palm Beach Community. It was Palm Beach Community College now. It's Palm Beach State College. And after that, I did our in-house training. I took different interviewing techniques and all those kind of basic courses that we do throughout our careers, in-house and at other locations.
So I'm going to turn your attention to January 29th of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And in what capacity were you working?
I was working road patrol, and I was assigned to District 2.
And was anybody with you?
Officer Chad Smith was also assigned to District 2.
Now, at any point during that day, did you become aware about a missing juvenile investigation? Would looking at your report refresh your recollection?
Yeah, would you mind if I looked at my report? And you said January 29th?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, gotta get readers. On the 29th, my sergeant had said that there had been a report of a missing juvenile taken the night prior, so I guess the 28th?
Yes.
And so on the 29th, I believe he said something to the effect of, it's a teenager that went missing, reported by the school as missing. if you could follow up with the parents and see if he's returned home. You might want to wait until later in the day to see if he's gone to school and has come home after school, something like that.
Okay, so at this point, it is January 29th of 2022.
Correct.
Okay, and after receiving this information, what do you do with that?
I'm referring to my notes here on the call. I initiated a call. Normally what we do when we're called for service is there's a call generated. If it's something that we decide we're going to go and do on our own, we can pull an event number and then tag that to the location and put our notes in that, what we did.
So at this point, who are you trying to make contact with?
I was trying to make contact with either Mr. or Mrs. Ferriter.
Okay. And did you eventually make contact with either of them?
I made contact with Tracy.
Okay.
And my note says she advised that Rowan has not yet returned, and she would call the police department with any updates. And my note says, but she didn't seem overly concerned as he's done this before.
Okay. Now, is it typical for you to follow up when children are missing?
Yes.
Okay. And how often would you do something like that?
Road Patrol is sometimes very responsive. And so if you're going call to call to call, it might wait a few hours, or it might be something that you accomplish first thing when you get to work is to follow up with something.
Did you ever hear back from Ms. Ferriter on the 29th?
The next day, when I reported for duty, my shift started at 5:30 in the morning.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're now talking about January 30th of 2022.
Correct.
Okay, so what did you do that day?
That was a Saturday, and so my sergeant had said, hey, night shift didn't report that he came back, so at some point can you go to the house or check in with them again and see what the status is, and see whether this child is returned.
Okay, so at that point, what do you do?
So I spoke with Officer Smith, who is routinely assigned to District 2, and I said, hey, I want to go out to the house and see if we can get a hold of them, because it's being a Saturday morning. Maybe he's returned, maybe they've heard from him, something. Let's just go to the house.
Now, when you went to the house, did you notice any cars in the driveway?
I don't believe there were any cars in the driveway. We looked at the property. It didn't look like anybody was home. It was quiet. We did knock at the door several times. Again, it was quiet, didn't appear to be anybody home. There was a chain link fence that ran down the side of the property. We kind of looked over that to see if we could see any movement, see anybody home. It's not unusual that people keep their cars in their garage, and so we didn't know if anybody was home. Repeated knocking, walking around the house, nobody came out.
Okay, so at that point, you notice that nobody's answering the door. What is your next step?
So again, I said, well, let's call her, because I spoke to her yesterday. Let me call her again and see if we find anything out, see if he's returned home, or, you know, maybe they just haven't told us yet that he's back.
And did she let you know that he had not returned home?
Yeah, so I placed a call to her, and I actually, my body-worn camera had been activated while we were out there. And because, sorry, this is a little backstory, but we don't get assigned cell phones, so we have to use our personal cell phones. I don't like to use my personal cell phone to call people I don't know, because then they'd have my number. So I called dispatch and said, can you put me on a recorded line, and can you record the conversation? Can you patch me through to her? So I gave dispatch her phone number, they called her, and she answered that phone call.
Now, without going into details of the actual phone call with her, did she let you know that he had not been found yet?
That's correct.
Okay. And did, after you were at that residence, after you spoke with her, what else did you do?
So while I spoke with her, it seemed to be a normal conversation. I was asking, would they be home? Where were they? Are they coming home soon? She indicated that her husband was with one daughter at some sporting events in Jupiter, and that she was with their daughter at Jupiter High School for band practice or something to do with the band, and that it wasn't convenient for them to come home.
Now, did you ever at any point go to the house later that day?
No.
Your Honor, what minute?
Granted.
Granted.
No further questions.
All right, Cross.
Dan, you said that you were told that the husband was in Florida at the baseball game on that day. This is on the 29th?
The 30th.
The 30th.
Yeah, which was a Saturday.
Do you know subsequently that that's incorrect, that he was in fact in Ireland during this entire time?
No.
Okay, so that was information that you noted it somewhere? Did you write that down?
It's written down that made contact with Tracy and she advised nobody is home. One daughter is at Jupiter High School with band and one at JCC with sports.
Okay, so nowhere in there does it say that Tim Ferriter is with any of the children in Florida on that day, correct? It does not say that.
It does not say that.
Okay, so it's possible you're incorrect when you testified that Tim Ferriter was in fact with a child that day in Florida, correct?
Could you repeat that?
It's very possible, because you said on direct that Tim Ferriter was told by you, Tracy Ferriter told you that Tim Ferriter was with one of the children that day at a softball game. And your notes don't reflect that. In fact, do they? There's nothing in your notes that say that.
Softball. It said sports. I also haven't had a chance. I retired from the Jupiter Police Department in February, a month after this event. I haven't had a chance to review my body-worn camera, so I can't tell you as I sit here whether she specifically said
like that.
She's at the game with her father or not. But at no point did anybody say to me he's in Ireland. He's not in the country.
Is it very possible
Hi,
that
CG.
Tracy Ferriter did not tell you that Tim Ferriter was with any of the children that day?
Hi, Luna.
Without listening to my BWC and reading what's here, it's possible.
May I take a quick look at that note you're looking at?
You can approach.
Welcome back, Luna, you absolute weirdo. Welcome. And Luna, no porn talk, please. No porn talk, thank you.
Tell me where on here you were reading from.
I was reading from one daughter at JHS with band and one at JCC with sports.
Okay. So, just so I'm clear.
Counsel, you need to, if you're going to speak, you need, you have to be at a mic or you won't get picked up.
I also need my reading glasses. Come on back, please. Signs of age.
Yes,
So
sir.
she's not reviewed any of her evidence. Body cam. Before trial, no, it's fine. He's been told. Yeah. I mean, no, yeah, she's fine, CG. Yeah. Bit of a MILF.
Nowhere on this report, though, does it say that Tim Ferriter is with the child. It says where one child is and where the other child is. It doesn't say the father is with any of the children.
You're correct.
Okay. So when you're saying that Tracy Ferriter is telling you that Tim Ferriter is with one of the children, that isn't in your notes.
You're correct.
Okay.
Please, use your mind.
Any redirect?
Down.
Is this witness excused? All right, ma'am, that concludes your testimony. You may step down. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
All right, state, call your next witness. You can approach.
Approach. There they go. What we think? I did not like that she's not reviewed the cam stuff, but you know. I was wondering to say, she said the father was with the child, but then note to actually address the father's location. Yeah, I mean, it seems a little bit, and these witnesses are very quick. I wonder if the husband and wife are still together. Hi, Dunya. How are you, my darling? Hope you're well. Dunya, hope you join us tomorrow for Matheau trial as well. Matt's coming, he's excited. Oh snap, he got the 60 hairstyle. He never got the memo. Yes. So just to remind people, day 2 of this, I will be streaming on Thursday, not tomorrow, on Thursday. I'll be streaming it on Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock our time. And straight after, we'll be streaming day 3. So I'll be playing at 1.25 speed, skipping all the breaks and playing through. So bit of an intense day, but I have to do that because of the Matt Moore interview tomorrow. He's coming on for like what 6-7 hours.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it's about noontime, so we're going to go ahead and break for lunch. I usually try to go to 1:30, but because of logistics with some witnesses, it'll be between 12 and 12:30, as I told you. In any event, we're going to break for lunch now. Today I'm going to give you a little bit longer than you should probably expect throughout the remainder of the week. You'll have from now until 1:25. I want you meeting with Mark out at the elevators at 1:25 for a 1:30 sharp start time on the afternoon session. Remember, and I know I'll say this to you until you're sick of hearing it during the break of the recess, make sure you don't discuss the case with each other or with anyone else. Do any kind of research or investigation. And also, as I've said before, make sure you're not inadvertently exposed to any type of media exposure to this case. Other than that, have lunch, relax, and I'll see you back in about an hour and a half.
Okay, so we'll be back at about 6:20, which means my kitchen fitter's coming at 6. So that's perfect, hopefully. So I'll come back on at about 6:20 then.
All right, everyone may be seated. Court will be in recess until 1:30.
Recess till 1:30. So if I may change this then to 6:25 then if I make it. You motherfucker. Sarah P, stop swearing. 6:25. Save. Right, done. Join us. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Oh, no, yeah, no, oh, I forgot. Hope your hand's doing okay. No alarm because, oh, no, yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, it's nice to have a break, but still though, it's not nice to have a broken hand. Um, but thank you everyone for being here. There's not much to add after that. We haven't seen much, obviously. So the plan is, you heard the man. 6. I'll be back. Trying back by 6:25. I got a kitchen fitter come in to measure the room and stuff like that. Well, yeah, good question. The CG. I don't know what she's doing. But yeah, I got kitchen fitter coming at 6 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock midday. Then, where was it? 12 o'clock Central. Sorry. No, I'm doing what? Hi, Chrissy. Chrissy, we're just about leaving. Hi, Chrissy. Chrissy, this isn't a good trial. If you fancy it, this has just started. It's a new trial. Um, boy locked up in a box. So you might want to watch this. We're coming back in an hour and 20 minutes, Chrissy. If you want to join us for this one. Oh, no, Nia, that's lovely. Do you mean this is your favourite place? New favorite place to be. Well, if that means this channel, then I appreciate you, Nunia, for that. That's so nice of you to say. I'll be back this afternoon. Thank you, Chrissy. But also, watch the last hour of this stream. and then you're all caught up for opening, and there's about 2 witnesses. No book about still become a grandma. Ha ha ha. Yes, yeah. Thank you, Nunia. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for that. Ah, thanks, Chrissy. Thank you, Chrissy. Appreciate that. I love you guys. I love this channel. I'll try not to bring the drama to this channel. I leave myself with the drama on Twitter. So yeah, we're going to take a break. I've got the kitchen fit to come in, and I want to go make some dinner now. So sorry, I'm rushing off just because I've got the kitchen guy coming in less than an hour now. So I want to have my food done before that. So yeah, we'll chat more when I get back on. But love you as always. Please like, subscribe if you haven't done so. Give Sarah and Josie some work to do, abuse them. And yeah, I'll see you this afternoon. See you in a few. See you all in a bit. Thank you guys. Love you all. Take care. Ta-ra. Oh, I forgot. End stream. Yay.